Welcome, Libra, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 1st of June for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you the big themes of the week ahead, first of all, Libra. Then on screen is your event chart as we go into the week. I'll unpack that for you. It always provides an important backdrop of the week ahead. I'll then go through each of the influences in detail. At the end of the video, you'll have a clearer picture of what's upcoming as far as your energy, work, relationships, or finances. You could find yourself feeling quite restless as we come into this new week, whether it's your work, a relationship, or just the patterns of life that have become a little too repetitive. You may be in the mood to do something much more spontaneous. And that's because of the power of the blue moon, which occurred at the end of last week, is going to be potent through the first 2 weeks of the new month. However, Mercury, which you can see is right at the top of your chart, moves later on Monday into the sign of Cancer, which is very nurturing. It's ruled by the moon, but it's also where you have your ruler Venus and the planet of fortune, Jupiter. And Mercury is going to be here for 10 long weeks because of an upcoming retrograde. But the 10th house is very much to do with our goals, ambitions, and connection to the world at large. What will it mean for you personally? Now, as much as Mercury can help you to elevate your message in the weeks ahead, it does clash with Neptune, the planet of dreams, in your sector of relating exactly on Thursday. And that could be a little bit of a tricky one. I will unpack that for you too. But if you're really clear about the things you want to change, and where you want to be more spontaneous, but also have a plan for it, the sun's role in the sign of Gemini and its link, particularly on Tuesday to Saturn, can be very helpful. So on the screen, we have the moon in the free-spirited sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is very much a truth seeker. It's passionate, it's a fire sign, but it's also mutable. So you may come into this week feeling, as I mentioned, restless, but you may also feel that you've got quite a lot of energy. What do you use it for? However, it was a full moon that did link in a very intense way to Mars, the planet of desire and action, but in a very deep part of your chart. One of the things you could find yourself talking about as you go into this week is a relationship, because last week, Libra, Venus, your ruler, was in a very tight right angle with Saturn, and that's still there at the start of this week. So part of what you're thinking about, or may want to escape, or just have some space from, may be a relationship, but not necessarily a personal one. It could be to do with your professional situation. So Mercury going right to the top of your chart is intriguing because Mercury likes and prospers on detachment and clarity, whereas the sign of Cancer is much more emotional. It's obviously a water sign. It's ruled by the moon. So our thinking can be more subjective. So it's important just to be conscious of that. Through to the 13th of the month, I think on the whole, apart from being challenged by Neptune this week and then by Saturn, it does give you the chance to talk to people in positions of influence or clarify what you want to do. But it's important to stay in touch with how you feel about it because of that moon energy. But of course, Venus, your ruler, and Jupiter are in this part of your chart. And I genuinely think that June can be a month of breakthroughs as far as your professional situation is concerned. But if that restlessness that shows up this week really is something you can't shift, just be aware that by the 15th of June, there is a new moon in this ninth house. So if you are wanting to travel somewhere, apply for a course, retrain, or tell people about some brilliant ideas you've got, you do have a rich opportunity still this month. And you can organize your approach splendidly this week with the sun's very constructive link to Saturn. So if you do need to work with someone and it does require concentration, as long as you can overcome that restlessness, there's a great chance that you can put your proposal together well. I think the clash between Mercury and Neptune just asks you to be really earthy in your approach. Don't get too caught up in what your dream is in terms of your work. It's how you're going to deliver it. So I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. It's now three for the price of one. Free are your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, please see that on the screen. If you're yet to watch your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast, please see that on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it would be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you would like to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, fired to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, you can do so below too. So, as far as your energy is concerned, I think you could have a lot of it. But the problem with having a lot of nervous energy in particular is it can get scattered. So there is the potential to start the week feeling like you're buzzing, but then maybe potentially not actually get that much done, which is why the sun's link to Saturn on Tuesday can be very helpful. So if you are feeling that you have a lot of extra vibe, do make a plan of how you can apply it. It's not just coming into the week feeling bubbly. What's the plan? When it comes to your professional situation, Mercury moving to the top of your chart, suggesting it's square with Neptune this week, that if you propose something to someone influential that's a bit woolly and not thought through, it probably won't make a good impact. But if you do think it through, as the Sun and Saturn can help you to do, your impact throughout June could be considerable, particularly if you're prepared to do something that requires moving, shifting, perhaps working overseas. Perhaps it's a job where you're actually moving around or relocating. When it comes to your financial situation, the 10th house energy is very much to do with career. So I think there could be a breakthrough around your work this month of June, and it can come in week 2, and that's looking hopeful as far as your finances are concerned. But also Mars, the planet of desire, is in your 8th house of shared finances or long-term financial investment. And I think because that interacted with the moon on the blue moon in a quincunx, if you have got some ideas to improve your financial situation, again, don't rush. It's all about the execution. And that's Saturn's brilliant link to the sun can help that too. As far as your relationships are concerned, well, Neptune being on that 7th house can be both mystical and also mysterious, but not necessarily positively. Neptune forges a great link to Uranus and Pluto. Pluto's in your sector of romance, Uranus in your sector of being open-minded. One of the great ways you can build up your connection to others is through new or shared interests. So joining in more. If, however, you're in an existing relationship, I think sensitivity is such an important thing. Now, Libras have a reputation of being very tuned into other people, but we can all work at our listening skills, all of us, because we're uh, bombarded with so many messages on our phones and images and memes. Sometimes when our partner's talking, we might not be quite as available as we could be. So that's one to work on. But if you have been having a bit of a tussle with someone and it's not been working very well, it may be because your ideals, your beliefs don't match. And that square between Saturn and Venus suggests, in the most extreme cases, unfortunately, it could be terminal. And it's just a matter of actually coming to the point of realizing that the separation, Uranus in the ninth, based on your values just not aligning, might be for the best. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Libra. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you again soon.